My man, Wesley Hunt, was on Bill Maher not so long ago, and Bill was grilling him, and Wesley came up with some fantastic responses to Bill's questioning of him, and also helped take out some of Bill's natural TDS that he simply cannot shake. So,
and here we go.
Whoopi Goldberg saying it's worse to be a black person in America today than a woman in Iran. I say we were talking about the trans issue before, and the New York Times really has come over on that to the sort of the sensible, liberal, not crazy woke position. I think this is a great first step toward getting the Democrats back to sanity. And a second good step would be, we got to do something about The View.
Like eliminate it?
I really believe that. I mean,
it's huge in Iran, though.
My district in the great state of Texas is actually a white majority district that President Trump would have won by 25 points. As I said, I'm a direct descendant of a slave. My great-great-grandfather was born on a Rosedale plantation. I am literally being judged not by the color of my skin, but by the content of my character.
As we should be in America, that should be the only thing that we should take into account. I don't care what somebody else's color of skin is. What I do care about is when somebody pushes their skin color and tries to get me to treat them preferentially because of it and claim victimhood and that we owe them something, which is the whole reparations argument, which should not exist at all today. Go on, Wesley.
Progress, because like a lot of white people had to vote for me. A lot.
So wait,
I don't even ever want to hear Whoopi go.
He almost says that like it's almost a secret, a lot of white people. It's very funny.
Ober's conversation about how it's worse to be black in America right now. That's a bit far. And my father, who's 75 years old, he was a man that was in the French quarters that had to go get a sandwich to the back door of the building. And his son is now a United States congressman in a white majority district in Texas as a Republican. That is America. That's America.
That is America.
Let's celebrate that.
I love Wesley Hunt's response there. Again, he had to have been voted for by white people. We don't judge. Almost all people do not judge somebody based on the color of their skin. We want to judge you, as I stated earlier, by the content of your character. And Whoopi Goldberg, of course, crying victim and spreading this victimhood mentality that it's worse to be black. I made a whole video about this, mocking her. I'm going to provide the link in the description as well as link to it here. But it's so ridiculous. I mean, gays get hung off of cranes. Women are forced to wear a hijab at all times or face physical punishment and imprisonment. You cannot often go outside under Sharia law without the expressed permission of an adult man. You can't leave the country without his permission, and that permission can be revoked. There are so many things to take into account regarding Iran. It's so ridiculous what they're trying to preach. Here we go.
We see that both parties are equally guilty, because when I think about January 6th and pardoning all the people who were involved in that insurrection, or whatever you want to call it.
Insurrection. How you have insurrection with no guns, though?
Thank you.
That's like having. That's like making coffee.
They brought tons of guns. It just
No. You see, again, you have this leftist trying to interrupt. They didn't have guns there because, believe me, you would have seen those charges being pressed over and over.
Currently, 40 million guns currently in circulation. One person was killed that day. It was Ashley Babbitt. She was a white unarmed person that was killed by a black Capitol police officer. Imagine if that had been the other way around. When I think of an insurrection as a war fighter, somebody that has seen some real nasty stuff, when I think about that, what people have to understand is that the summer of love leading up to that was something else. We're talking about $2 billion in damage. 200 cities had to go under curfew. 22 people lost their lives. And I understand that January 6th was a Democrats' white rhino, and they were going to run in that. They're going to win the next election. And Donald Trump is still president, last I checked.
Yeah.
Okay. Take the politics.
You know what? The other thing about the insurrection, he was so good. You're reframing it, because what type of insurrection do you go to without bringing a guns? It's like going to the barbecue without bringing the meat. What do you want to bring? Gazpacho?
I made enough gazpacho for all. It's tomato soup served ice cold.
Go back to Russia!
The point being is that most of the people that were involved in the framing of the insurrection, the moment that you agree to that framing, and Wesley Hunt strictly denied it, then you are giving the power over to them and you have to explain yourself. It wasn't an insurrection. Many of these people, to reframe it, believed that they were preventing an insurrection and the Democrat Party from usurping power that they did not earn, and they had questions about the vote. They were trying to delay that to give it time to play out. Now, there's a good reframe as well.
I mean, look, they were there for a specific reason, and they attacked the Capitol, a specific place, on a specific day, at a specific moment, which was the exact moment that the votes were being counted, which to me makes it even worse. But okay, let's just say they were there because they were, I don't know, furious about the price of eggs.
False equivalency.
No politics. They were just like, Congress has not done anything about the goddamn price of eggs, and we are going to, I don't care how many cops get hurt, we're going to, would it be any different?
Well, again, we were talking about...
Is it just okay because it was...
It's a totally false equivalency that Bill Maher is bringing up there. Everybody can see that. And you cannot agree to enter that frame. You just have to claim that what it is. It's a false equivalency.
This wasn't necessarily about defending Trump.
Okay, but what if it was just, what if it was over 100 cops getting hurt and people taking over a building over the price
of
now
you're talking about the summer of love.
No.
Yep.
That's when people are actually really getting hurt.
Well,
that's when 22 people died. That's when we watched mayhem in our streets. And even just a couple of weeks ago here in LA, we were watching people throw pieces of concrete at law enforcement officers and cars burning in the street in our cities. We cannot have that anywhere.
Okay. Well, fuck.
That is a violent insurrection, attacking those who are enforcing the law. And you have to be able to put the two side by side and see which is worse.
Up the execution, just like they did with the parade. Like, do I think it was a good idea to have a parade? No, but if you're going to do it, if you're going to have a vaguely fascist parade, do it right.
Vaguely fascist.
To offer another opinion from our side of this whole thing, and that is, it was the 250th birthday of our United States Army.
Right.
As I said, thank you very much. And somebody that served this nation as an Apache pilot, again, my brother and sister going to West Point, 6 years of military service, mostly in the Army. My great-great-grandfather fought in the Civil War. And you know what I saw? I saw the president salute the Corps of Cadets as they walked past him. I watched him salute the 75th Ranger Regiment as they walked past him. I sat there and watched the fireworks behind the Washington Monument. And you know what I thought? Damn, that's absolutely outstanding. And it's far better than Joe Biden checking his watch when bodies were being returned to Dover. Okay, wait a minute. This is hold on. This is a...
See, wait a minute. Don't you dare go there. Don't you dare go there and criticize the dementia patient that we were covering for. Don't you dare go there. Wait a minute.
Contrast that we were talking about and why you lost. Because we were talking about a man that's talking about patriotism. And in parades like that, when I was growing up, I served. Because I used to go to these parades and watch my dad participate in them. I saw the Black Hawks landing. I visited my sister at West Point. I said, by God, I want to serve this country too. And so the dichotomy of what we're seeing with President Trump and his patriotism, saluting the flag, actually making an effort. And whether you like it or agree with the execution, the effort is there. That's all we want to see.
Execution doesn't matter. First of all, thank you for your service. Bill, I mean that. I say that to everybody. Always have for 22 years.
I've watched you for 20.
He is not a psycho leftist. That's the truth. He is not a psycho.
Yes, absolutely. I'm always
much.
behind the military, and
You have that.
Nobody compares to the military. Everybody says that they're brave. They're brave. Oh, you're so brave. Military, that's who's brave. And cops and firefighters and people like that, but mostly the military.
You know who's brave? The people that stand up and like say, you know, I'm trans, born in a different body. Oh my God, how brave are you?
Was the fact that he had an assassination attempt and survived it. And look, I've heard idiots on the left say to me, Bill, you know that was staged.
Yeah, that wasn't staged.
No, it was not staged. That would be ridiculous because the guy behind him got shot. Right. And we don't really see.
Is that your only evidence?
Anymore. But anyway, they did try to shoot him, and he did survive it. And I know a lot of Republicans think that is determinative. They think God saved him, and therefore he cannot make a wrong move. Is that what you believe?
Well, it wasn't just that. It's just you guys had a really bad candidate in Kamala Harris. People also have to understand is
Terrible.
that was one of the most undemocratic things I've ever seen. What you did was you took Joe Biden, you put him in a room, put on Golden Girls, gave him some chocolate chip ice cream, and then by the time he walked out, he was no longer running for president, and he had no idea what was going on. So when you combine that with a candidate that not a single Democrat voted for in that primary, it creates a disaster. That's another big reason why President Trump won, is because the Democrat Party lost faith in the American people because they broke the process in order to get the right candidate to actually run for president.
But I want to come back to this point you made about the cult of personality, because I think you're right. When Donald Trump was the most against TikTok, and I can't stand the guy, but I thought he's right about that. TikTok is Chinese communist. I don't like it. He was against it. And every MAGA guy I knew was against it. Then he met with a TikTok billionaire. He's all for TikTok. And they're all for it now. It's like, come on, they're still Chinese communists. But he will win. Whichever side he chooses, his base will come along with him.
This is Sue. He's also in charge. We have a leader in our party. Who's the leader in your party?
Well, you just said it was bad that the Democrats like Nancy Pelosi for years.
Right now, but not for 20 years. So we have somebody that is absolutely our leader of the party. Right. It is Donald Trump, but we are actually behind him. Who is your leader? Is it going to be Bernie Sanders? Is it going to be AOC? Is it going to be Jasmine Crockett? Are you kidding me?
Let it be Jasmine.
In the way of the dear leader. I remember when Roger Ailes and Fox News took him on.
Dear leader. Again, look at the framing that they are giving to Donald Trump. Dear leader. I despise it.
He crushed
It's intentional.
I remember when Elon Musk a few weeks ago took him on. Trump crushed them. So whatever Trump does, I guess if I was advising him as a political advisor, I'd say, sir, whatever you do, they're going to be with you. So figure out what the right thing to do is. In that sense, he's free. It's only about 35% of the country, but it's about 65% of the Republican Party. They will do anything the dear leader says, and that's terrifying.
Dear leader,
but
dear
for Trump,
leader, dear leader.
Some space to be able to do or not do what he thinks is best.
I thought that would be worth sharing with you guys and commenting on, because I think that Wesley Hunt is an outstanding candidate in person. If someone like Wesley were to be president of the United States, would be running, I could vote for him in a heartbeat. Patriotic, he speaks elegantly and eloquently, and is an overall good person. I get the sense. Leave me your thoughts in the comment section, what you thought of him and the way that he trounced Bill Maher, especially regarding January 6th, because I thought that was a specifically good highlight. I just wish he had gone farther and further dispelled the idea that they were engaging in an insurrection. That's merely the framing of the Democrat Party that Bill Maher has adopted over and over with his TDS. Leave me your thoughts in the comment section, thumb up the video, and if you like this content, subscribe if you're new. Peace out.